Hello everybody, welcome to today's TED Style Talk. Today we're going to dive into Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development, exploring its stages and how it can shape our understanding of ethical decision making. So what exactly is Kohlberg's theory of moral development? Well, it's a theory that suggests moral reasoning develops in stages as we grow and mature. Kohlberg identified 6 stages, and he divided them into 3 levels, each level building upon the one previous to that one. Now, let's start with level 1, pre-conventional morality. At this level, moral reasoning is based on external factors such as punishment and reward. The first stage would be obedience and punishment orientation. And in this stage, individuals, they obey the rules. Just to avoid punishment, they see rules as an absolute and they fear the consequences of breaking them. So for the first example, I want to bring up when I was a child and I was in trouble or mad at my mom, and I would get so mad and get to my room and I would, shut up, I hate her. And, typical angry child. But I would never dare yell back at my mom. And that was my fear of punishment, because I did not want to disrespect my mom and then get in trouble. So moving on to stage 2, we have the individualism and exchange stage. And here individuals, we begin to consider our own interests and the interests of others. So we understand that different people have different perspectives and may make decisions based on what benefits them personally. So a perfect example for this stage would be back in school as well. Sometimes I would forget my lunch. So when I did have my lunch, I would share with my friend, because I knew when I would forget it, since I shared today, the day I forget, my friend will share with me that day. And that was my moral reasoning. And that follows along with stage 2 of individualism and exchange. So moving on to level 2, conventional morality. At this level, moral reasoning is driven by social norms and expectations. So we make moral choices at this level by paying attention to these social norms and these expectations. Stage 3, we have the interpersonal relationship stage. Individuals at this stage, we seek approval from others and conform to these social norms. To maintain positive relationships, we prioritize harmony and empathy. So a perfect example of stage 3 moral reasoning, I recall a lot of times the kids in my middle school would cheat when the quizzes were too hard, or they would just copy off of each other or have little cheat sheets. I remember thinking, I better not do that, because 1, I would always study. I did not want to disappoint my parents or my teachers. I felt like they worked hard for us to learn the information they were giving us, and it wasn't fair to cheat. And that is the stage 3 moral reasoning. So stage 4, we have maintaining social order, and here individuals, they want to uphold the law and social conventions to maintain order in society. So we understand the importance of following these rules for the greater good, and even if it means that we're going to have to sacrifice some personal interest. The perfect example is you're running late to an appointment When you're running late to an appointment, you could drive fast and cut people off, but it's dangerous and it's not safe for yourself or others. So I use this example because I'm always running late, and I know better than to put myself at risk or anyone else just to get somewhere on time. If I was worried about getting there on time, I should have left earlier. So that is the perfect example for stage 4, maintaining social order reasoning, moral reasoning. Now finally, moving on to level 3, the post-conventional morality. At this level, moral reasoning is guided by internal principles and values rather than external factors. So we have stage 5, which is the social contract and individual rights stage. Individuals at this stage, we recognize the societal rules. They're not absolute, and we can challenge them and push to have these absolute rules changed if they violate our fundamental rights or principles of justice. So my example here would be that women's rights, I believe they are unfair and discriminatory. So I push for change towards laws and rights that affect women. And that is a perfect example for stage 5 moral reasoning. Lastly, we have stage 6. Stage 6 is the universal principles stage. And here we follow self-chosen ethical principles. These principles are consistent across different situations, and they act in accordance with principles such as justice or equality and the human dignity, regardless of these social norms or expectations. So, what do I mean? For me, stage 6 moral reasoning means I put honesty and integrity first, even if it means that later on I will have to deal with the consequences. That to me is me now. So you're probably wondering, where do I fit into all this? Well, let me share a bit about my own moral reasoning. So reflecting on my own life, you could take my examples as some parts of my life. I can see these aspects of each of Kohlberg's stages in my moral reasoning. There have been times where I've been making decisions because of fear of punishment. There was times where I chose to make a different decision because I wanted to maintain the social order, and other times where I've acted on my own internal principles and values. So in conclusion, Kohlberg's theory of moral development provides a framework for understanding how our moral reasoning evolves over time. By recognizing these stages of moral development, we can better understand ourselves and others, and we can strive to cultivate a more ethical and just society. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Kohlberg's theory. Remember, moral development is a lifelong process, and we all have the capacity to grow and evolve as ethical beings. Thank you again.